This video is sponsored by the website builder Squarespace. More about them in the main clip.
Winter is a season for fragrances when us collectors can go all out. The most thick, luxurious, multifaceted fragrances thrive at this time of year. Winter fragrances are understandably some people's most favorite season of fragrances because you can wear your best stuff, your most exciting stuff, while summer fragrances tend to be a bit more simple, fresh, easy to understand, which can be a little bit boring for us collectors. So today I thought I'd do a video for this year where I would select what I think are some of the best winter fragrances, the top 20 men's winter fragrances of this year, but I'm doing it in a way where we're going to keep it very well rounded in your collection. We're going to do 4 fragrances in 5 different categories. Those categories are going to be the ones we usually cover on this channel, which are going to be your versatile dumb reach fragrances / signature fragrances, your evening / date night fragrances, your head turner / loud fragrances, your office / professional fragrances, and then finally 4 excellent cheap men's winter fragrances. Let's begin. For the versatile category, I picked 4 fragrances that are thick and luxurious and feel very much winter appropriate, but at the same time, I don't want your everyday signature to be boring. I want them to be very interesting, have character, and each one kind of has its own personality, its own style. First up is going to be Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum. This flanker was designed for winter in my opinion. It is so warming and inviting and has a very iconic set of notes. The cherry is legendary in the community. Cherry, almond, leather, it smells a bit powdery, vanillic. It is a sweeter fragrance, it's powdery as well, but it's balanced enough to be used as your signature, and I just feel like that cherry note makes you really stand out. If you want like a really creative fragrance, you know, Jeremy always used to say the girls would tell him he smells good and he smells different. That summarizes L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum perfectly. Unfortunately, I think this has been reformulated. It's just about getting 8 hours, but it's more of a soft and medium projecting fragrance now. It used to project better from what I remember, but still performs well enough to be worth your money. I think this is a great scent. It's potentially a 10 out of 10, maybe it's a 9.5 out of 10. I really love this flanker. Not my favorite from the line, but objectively, I think it's very good. Prada L'Homme Intense. Now this flanker has no performance issues. This is a beastly fragrance. A very sharp, leathery, tonka bean, sweet, powdery iris fragrance. It's dark, but at the same time, it's not only for evenings, in my opinion. In the wintertime, especially, you can wear this both day and night. This has enough thickness, but balance and character to be a really versatile, memorable signature. 10 hours longevity with medium projection. This is a 10 out of 10. This is a designer fragrance that smells like it should be in a niche brand, in my opinion. I always say this. This is beautiful stuff. One of the best from Prada, probably the #1 scent. Parfum de Marley's Pegasus Exclusif. This is a fragrance for the man who wants to smell like money, but still smell sexy and edible. This has gourmand aspects to it. The original Pegasus, I think, is overrated. I give this a 7 out of 10, whilst this is a 10 out of 10. This takes that unique and interesting ideas of Pegasus and makes them more wearable. It has that metallic, milky almond with some vanilla in here that work really well in this because it's balanced out by some woody notes, a really interesting oud note in here. The Guaiac wood has a tiny bit of smokiness. This is just a very well-balanced, mature, luxurious signature that's perfect for the winter time. 12 hours longevity with a medium projection, worth the money, much better than the original. Try out Pegasus Exclusive if you haven't already. And lastly, Oud for Greatness by Initio Parfum. Another legendary scent in the community, peppery, saffron, sharp, woody oud in here that has some ambery, spicy facets on the dry down. I think the dry down of this fragrance is the best part. It smells mature, masculine, piercing, photorealistic. It has that realistic spice cabinet effect I always say this fragrance has in the opening. So it's not an easy fragrance when you first get it, but over time you learn to love it more and more. It does smell mature. It smells very masculine, even though it's marketed unisex, I believe. Just so you guys are aware, I did get this sent to me for free. This bottle, I got this sent by one of our sponsors in previous videos, but either way, I still think this is a fantastic scent. I think this is a 10 out of 10. It's not exactly my style, but a lot of people love this. If you want a really traditional Middle Eastern oud scent, you need to try this. 10 to 12 hours longevity with a medium to loud projection. You don't have to go heavy with this trigger here at all. I think a really iconic scent. If you love fragrances like Sauvage, Elixir, maybe go for this instead. I prefer Oud for Greatness over Sauvage Elixir personally. As you guys know, our own website, www.schoolofscent.com, was made on today's sponsor, Squarespace. Our website, you know, really got us started in the world of fragrances. We put out 1-minute concise reviews, 4 fragrances to give people the best value for their time, essentially, when they're watching content. Squarespace made it really easy for me, a tech newbie who knew nothing about making a website, to literally just go on their template, click and drag, and make the website of my dreams. And that was years ago. Nowadays, Squarespace has advanced even further with their AI-based features, with their intelligent design and Squarespace blueprint features, where they simply ask you a few questions, and based on what you want to create for your next project, the website that you want to create, the AI features will form your perfect bespoke website for you. It's very clever stuff, and you should go check it out, guys. Whether or not you want a website for your business, you want to start a blog, you want to sell courses, you want to sell a subscription, whatever you want to do for your next project, make sure you look professional, make sure you look premium by using a website from Squarespace. You can go ahead and click the link in the description down below, guys, to create the website of your dreams with a free trial. See what you can create, and if you love what you've created, you can go ahead and use our discount code SchoolofScent at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Let's continue. The date night category. Again, really dark, complex, interesting fragrances. This category is both for dates and just for general special occasion evening scenarios. Emporio Armani Stronger With You, absolutely. Out of all the flankers I've tried of Stronger With You, and I think I've tried a good, at least half of them, I will say Stronger With You absolutely probably is my favorite right now. It has that warm, ambery, romantic DNA of Stronger With You, a very easy to love amber-based fragrance, that chestnut note in there, so it's nutty, ambery, loud as well for a date night fragrance. It smells romantic overall, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't put this in the head turner category because it doesn't feel like a clubbing scent, for example. It feels more like a general nice evening/date fragrance. Just adjust the number of sprays you use depending on the scenario you're using it for. But I like absolutely because it has its own distinct rum note in here. I love the booziness. Boozy, ambery, safe fragrances are a great choice in general. It's a very safe DNA that performs fantastically. 10 hours longevity with a medium projection. One of my favorite flankers from the line. Try it out if you haven't already, guys. This fragrance was gifted to me by Armani themselves. I give this a 9 out of 10. 37.9% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys really want to see our channel grow, go ahead and click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Tom Ford Noir Extreme. But actually, I would say get the Noir Extreme Parfum. If I was to get another bottle of this DNA, I would get the Parfum. But they're very similar. You don't need to own both at all. That's why I haven't pulled the trigger on Parfum. But Noir Extreme is legendary. Beautiful gourmand fragrance, edible. Smells edible because it has this very interesting kulfi note. I really love it when perfumers try to recreate an edible item that hasn't been used in perfumery before. To this day, I still don't know any other creation that uses kulfi as a note, which is like an edible, spiced dairy ice cream kind of dessert found often in India. It is delicious. It is sexy, vanillic, floral, spicy with that cardamom in there as well. It has a lot of interesting date night associated notes that just work perfectly. I think this is unisex, leaning a little bit masculine, but I think girls could rock this as well, honestly. But to me, this is for the man who likes darker scents that smell super sexy, want to smell mysterious, pull her in closer to you. This is the fragrance to do it. A date night fragrance that lasts 8 hours with a soft projection, 9 out of 10 from me. And then the Parfum adds a tiny touch of smoky leatheriness in here, but it doesn't change too much, but I'd like that leathery touch. I think it's great. I think it makes the fragrance a little bit more masculine. By Kilian's Angel Share. Boozy, ambery, cinnamon, praline perfumery is how I would describe Angel Share. Legendary in the community, won many awards. I think it's fair enough. I think it's beautiful how it smells like money, but it's very balanced. It's warm, inviting. It's unisex, definitely. I don't think it goes on either gender. I think it's perfectly in the middle. 8 hours or 8 to 10 hours with a soft to medium projection. Actually, no, probably a medium projection. I think that this projects more than you think. But if you want like a powerful cinnamon fragrance, almost like an apple pie scent, you don't need this fragrance and something like Parfum de Marly's Ojan. They overlap too much, but it definitely has that apple pie vibe that Ojan has. A beautiful fragrance that's worth its money, absolutely. It's a standout from the brand for a reason. I agree with it, 10 out of 10. Xerjoff Naxos. Ah, Naxos, I love this fragrance. This is a masterpiece, and it works in many seasons, but I think winter is when it really shines. It has that thickness, that luxuriousness. Again, it's an ambery-based fragrance, like all these date night fragrances are basically, but it has a beautiful, iconic tobacco and lavender in here. It balances the oriental notes with the fresh aromatics. It smells like money, one of the best from Xerjoff. I think Xerjoff is an excellent brand in general. They have many top hitters, 10 out of 10s. This is a 10 out of 10 as well, but I still think this is potentially their #1 fragrance from what I've tried so far. Maybe I should try more Xerjoff fragrances, I'm not sure. But yeah, Naxos is my baby. I love this scent. You want to smell like a mature, luxurious man who's just successful, smells like money, Naxos will do it for you, and it's not too challenging, but it still smells niche. So it's a great balance for everything, worth the money, 10 out of 10, as I said. For the office/professional scenario, you want a fragrance that is aromatic and clean overall, inoffensive, but it has some sweet aspects in it because it makes sense for the winter season. You want something that's a little bit thick and cut through the cold. It's a very difficult balance to get a winter office fragrance, but hopefully you guys agree with these four. Penhaligon Sartorial. A honeyed barbershop scent that smells clean, soapy, lavender-esque with these what I like to call freshly ironed shirt musks. It smells like you are freshly ironed, you're ready to go, you smell like a dandy, upbeat gentleman frolicking through the streets of London is how I describe Sartorial. Very gentlemanly. If you're wearing a tweed suit with a bow tie like this perfume did here, I think it's a great representation of this fragrance. One of the best barbershop scents ever made, has a lot of character, 8 hours longevity with a soft projection, 10 out of 10. Aqua de Parfum Sandalo. This is even more mature than Sartorial, but if you love sandalwood, this is one of the best scents you'll ever smell. This is all about a sandalwood, of course, as the name suggests. It has that Colonia barbershop aromatic citrus fougere DNA in there, but then the sandalwood is very thick, very prominent throughout the entire duration of this scent. A very thick, creamy, professional, mature, photorealistic sandalwood is how I would describe Sandalo. Very nice if you like sandalwood scents. Sandalwood is a very thick, creamy, milky, woody note that lasts a very long time. Most sandalwood notes don't project a huge amount, but this one projects very well, at least medium projection for 12 hours, so you don't need to go heavy on the trigger with this. It smells expensive. One of the best from Aqua de Parfum. More people should talk about this one. Honestly, it deserves a 10 out of 10. I think this is perfect for the office in the wintertime. Dior Sauvage Parfum. To clarify, this is the 2017 bottle. This is a fougere. Again, I guess I'm just using fougeres over and over because it's a very obvious choice for the office time. It works, it's a family that works for the office, but this is a very sweet ambery fougere. It works all year round, I think. This could actually be your professional, successful man signature in general for all year round. 12 hours longevity, or 12 to 14 hours with medium to loud projection. Again, beastly, but smells very clean, professional, simple, definitely, but still a 10 out of 10. It smells like quality and it smells unique. I don't really know any other barbershop scents that smells exactly like this. I guess Chanel's Pour Monsieur Eau de Parfum has some similarities as an amber-based barbershop fougere, but this does it better, and I think this is one of the best fougeres ever made as well. A great release by Dior. Try it out if you haven't, guys. And lastly, my recent baby, Gucci Guilty Absolute. As a guy who's guilty of hating on the Gucci Guilty line in general, I will say Absolute is a masterpiece, one of my favorites from the brand. I give it a 10 out of 10 when I first bought this. I don't think it's quite a 10, it's maybe a 9, maybe 8.5 or 9, something like that, but it's a very nice linear, spicy, dry, woody leather fragrance that is blended smoothly, smells mature, smells very masculine, smells a little bit Middle Eastern. It really stands out from the rest of the Guilty line. It has a lot of character, unlike most of the Guilty fragrances. This lasts, what, 10 hours with a medium projection, very ambery, it glows, has a nice ambery glow to it. It's nice quality, and I can see why people say this is the niche flanker in the Gucci Guilty line. I can agree with that, actually. But if you want a really nice, sexy, professional, masculine, leather-based fragrance, one of the better leather scents I've smelled recently. Very good stuff, worth the hype, try it out. The head turner / clubbing category. Now in wintertime, you can kind of go all out. These fragrance families for the winter are naturally very loud anyways, so I think it's a great season where you can just kind of put on your most impressive stuff and just really have fun with fragrances. I'll go for some designer suggestions and then some niche suggestions. Versace Eros Flame. I know I like to hate on the Eros line, but I still think this, along with the Parfum, are the best flankers in the Eros lineup. Eros Flame, for you guys who want to get compliments with your clubbing scents, if you guys want an easy to understand designer head turner fragrance, you want something like that in your collection, Eros Flame will still do it. A big compliment getter from my experience. It is sweet, spicy, citrusy. It has that beautiful vanilla from the Eros line. It's smoother than the Eau de Toilette in my opinion, and it's more associated with clubbing in my mind than something like Eros EDP or Eros Parfum. They can be used for clubbing, but I feel like this is more appropriate for it. This is fun, loud, has a little bit more going on than the original Eros EDT, which I think just gets very boring very quickly. 14 hours with a loud projection with this fragrance. 30 ml is actually probably all you need. Don't need to use it that often unless you're a clubbing maniac, but I do think this is a very solid designer. My even smaller bottle of Le Male Elixir. Le Male Elixir has been making a lot of waves in the Jean Paul Gaultier universe. I think it's fantastic. Simple, smooth, loud vanilla is how I describe it. Woody ambers in here. I don't get this tobacco or this honey that's in there. I don't think it's Naxos. I think I've called it Naxos designer-esque at one point, but It's not really, it's its own thing. The more I smell it, the more I think this is a very simple fragrance. No breakdown is doing too much in my opinion. I think this is very simple. If you like fragrances like in the Valentino Uomo Born in Roma line, you'll love this. Simple, very smoothly done, beautiful, loud, 10 to 12 hours longevity with a medium to loud projection. Uses for general evenings, but it's definitely a good clubbing scent in my opinion, a good contender for that. Let's get some 9 out of 10 from me. Merchant of Venice Venezia 21. I acquired this for free, for transparency's sake, by Max Aroma in one of our recently sponsored videos. This is a beautiful scent. This really stands out in a brand that's actually very good as well. Merchant of Venice in general might be a little bit under the radar right now. I don't think they will be in the future. They're very good. Beautiful presentation as well, as you can see. I'm not a presentation guy, but you know, I have to talk about this presentation. This is actually very, very impressive. Yeah, I'm not, you know me guys, I don't hype presentations, but it's beautiful. Venezia 21 is a very loud, amber-based cinnamon oud praline fragrance. So spicy, oud that is gourmand at the same time. This will turn heads. If you want a head turner that does it all, that you just want to be decadent, you don't care, you just want to be luxurious and go all out, Venezia 21 is worth the money. It smells extremely high quality and it's definitely got some very good quality naturals in here. 12 hours longevity with a loud projection, I would say. Ambery, Middle Eastern, as I said. It just smells like a very much the epitome of an oriental scent. All the most decadent, beautiful spices in here, a lot of different concepts, a lot of character. This really stands out. I think this is a really good brand, but Venezia 21 is currently my favorite from Merchant of Venice. And lastly, Oud Maracujá by Maison Crivelli. Passion fruit, rose, oud, and leather. I always say this is a creative twist on the typical rose and oud combination. It's loud, it's beastly, masculine, 16 hours with a medium to loud projection. This is getting hype in the community as well, and I can see why. I think it's well deserved. I think passion fruit is such a creative addition to something like this. It smells really sexy, really smooth, good quality naturals as well. Definitely head turner material. And lastly, the cheaper category. All of these should be less than £30, but are still excellent and smell expensive as well, most of these. Bentley for Men Intense. Woody, boozy, leathery. It has this ambery glow, its thickness. It smells more expensive than its price tag, but I used probably some cheap ingredients in here, but Natalie Lawson has blended it to make it smell expensive. It's that ambery glow that smells super sexy. I think for a mature man who wants a really deceptively high quality cheap scent for the evening time, this smells like money. You want to chill out in a, I don't know, a jazz lounge, or if you want to go on a date and still smell expensive, I think this fragrance can do it. I definitely think it deserves the hype it gets in the community. I think especially if you're a mature man, you should check this fragrance out. 9 out of 10 from me, 12 hours longevity with a medium projection. Al Haramain's Detour Noir. This is a Parfum de Marly's latent clone that I think is at least 90% similar. It smells super similar even just from the cap, but I will say the first 10 minutes are probably the weakest points for this fragrance. It smells a little bit synthetic, a little bit harsh, but then it smooths out really easily, really quickly. Latent does smell better, but for the price tag, if you don't love Latent, you don't feel like it's worth its money, then get this and you'll be sorted. It's super, super similar still for how much you're paying. It smells really high quality. I get 10 hours longevity with the medium projection. I don't like the bottle. You know, I was talking about the presentation before. This is a presentation I don't like, even though I think this fragrance is a 10 out of 10. This is a weird bottle that I have gripes with. But overall, Detour Noir is a very solid clone, one of the best clones out on the market right now. Speaking of another clone that I think is a 10 out of 10, I will say Latifah's Assad. Even though I gave my bottle away, I think this is a fantastic clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. Spicy, lavender, a little bit warm in here as well, but balanced, more balanced than Sauvage Elixir, which to me always gave me a headache, and I had to give my bottle away of that as well. Latifah Assad smells better quality than its price tag would suggest, but it's definitely not as high quality smelling as Sauvage Elixir. It's not as rich, so it feels less rich, but more balanced and more wearable in my opinion. It's still a 10 out of 10, 10 hours longevity in the medium projection. If you like that spicy, masculine, Middle Eastern signature DNA, then it'll be a very useful fragrance to own in the cheapy category. And lastly, another Latifah Amir Al Oud Intense. I was put onto this by Curly Michelle. Shout out to her for recommending this fragrance, saying this is a more masculine twist on By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. I completely agree. It has that smoky, bonfire effect, but it smells less gourmand, still ambery, just smells more woody, a little bit more fresh, more masculine, but definitely a winter scent. It's definitely still cold weather appropriate, still got good projection, medium to loud projection actually, with at least 8 hours longevity. This is Middle Eastern, smoky, ashy, masculine, woody. I don't think there's any real oud in here, none of this price, but it definitely has that kind of Middle Eastern oud idea in your head when you smell this. I think, you know, By the Fireplace is great, but it smells a little bit too awkward to wear that often. So it's a great creative idea. I like fragrances like this, a clone like this that is maybe 80 to 85% similar, but it has its own useful twist on it. The masculinity, the easier use of this, the more wearability this has is very handy, and I like that this clone exists. To me, this is probably a 9 out of 10. Very good value for money. And that concludes this list, guys. What fragrances in your collection are you looking forward to the most to wear this winter time? Which fragrances are you looking to acquire? Maybe you're interested in some of these fragrances now that I've mentioned them to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our previous video on winter fragrances. I'll give it a perfect 10 out of 10. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.